Alright, Trickers and Trickers. Well, it's time to look at the best of both worlds. And before I get into the review itself, I just want to say that even though this is a two-part story, with the first part being the end of season 3, and the second part being the end of, and the second part being the beginning of season 4, I'm basically doing this as one whole review. So there you go. So basically, this will be the third episode that I'm going to be reviewing today. So yeah. So then the other two will be the first two. Then will be the other will be family and then brothers, both from season 4. Everybody got that? Good. So here we go. Starship Enterprise responds to a distress call from a Federation colony and arrives to discover the colony gone. The Federation suspect the Borg, cybernetic humanoids that assimilate individuals into their hive mind. Starfleet Admiral Hansen arrives on the Enterprise with Lieutenant Commander Shelby, an expert on the Borg, who assists the crew in determining the cause of the colony's disappearance. Hansen informs Captain Picard that Commander Riker has been offered the command of a starship and suggests that Riker take the position, having turned it down twice previously. Although there is tension between Riker and Shelby, who wants to take over his position of first officer, they confirm that the colony was assimilated by the Borg. Hansen advises Picard that another Federation vessel encountered a strange cube-like vessel before sending a stress call that ended abruptly. Enterprise moves to intercept and confronts a Borg cube. The Borg demand that Picard surrender himself, which he refuses. Although initially deterred by Enterprise's shield modulation, the Borg lock the vessel in a tractor beam and begin cutting open the hull. Shelby suggests randomly changing the frequency of the ship's phasers to prevent the Borg from adapting to the attack, which frees the vessel. The Enterprise escapes to a nebula, where Chief Engineer George LaForge and Ensign Wesley Crusher adapt a technique suggested by Shelby to modify the deflector dish to fire a massive energy discharge capable of destroying the Borg cube. The Borg flush Enterprise from the nebula, board the ship, and abduct Picard. The Borg cube moves at a high warp speed towards Earth, with Enterprise in pursuit. Riker, now in command of the ship, prepares to join an away team to transport the cube to rescue Picard, but Council Joy reminds him his place is now on the bridge. Shelby leads the away team onto the Borg cube, where they are ignored by the Borg drones. The team locate Picard's uniform and communicator, and then destroy power nodes inside the cube, forcing it out of warp. As the team prepares to transport to Enterprise, they see an assimilated Picard. The Borg contact the Enterprise, with Picard stating that he is Locutus of Borg, and to prepare for assimilation. Riker orders Worf to fire the deflector dish. The deflector dish discharge has no effect on the Borg cube. Locutus reveals that the Borg had prepared for the attack using Picard's knowledge. The Borg cube continues at warp speed towards Earth, with the crippled Enterprise unable to follow. On reporting their failure to Hansen, Riker is promoted to captain and learns that a fleet of starships is massing Wolf 359 to stop the Borg. Enterprise arrives at Wolf 359 to find that the fleet has been destroyed, including the ship that Riker was gonna be captain of. The Enterprise follows the cube's warp trail and offers to negotiate with Locutus. The request is denied, but the communication reveals Locutus' location within the cube. The Enterprise locates the Borg cube and separates into saucer and star drive sections. Although Shelby suggested attacking with the star drive section, Riker does the reverse and orders the saucer section to fire an antimatter spread near the cube, disrupting its sensors and allowing the shuttlecraft piloted by Lieutenant Commander Data and Lieutenant Worf to pass the Borg shields and beam aboard the Borg cube. They kidnap Locutus, although the Borg ignore this and continues to Earth. Data and Dr. Crusher create a neural link with Locutus to gain access to the Borg's collective consciousness. Data attempts to use the link to disable the Borg's weapons and defensive systems, but cannot, as they are protected by security protocols. Picard breaks free from Borg control and enters sleep. Dr. Crusher comments that Picard must be exhausted from this ordeal, but Data realizes that Picard is suggesting accessing the Borg regeneration subroutines, which are less protected than key systems like weapons or power. Data issues a command to the Borg to enter sleep mode, causing their weapons and shields to deactivate. A feedback loop builds in the Borg cube, which destroys the vessel. Dr. Crusher and Data remove the Borg implants and augmentations from Picard. Ooh, yay. The Enterprise is repaired in an orbital starship. And Riker, although offered command of his own ship, insists on remaining as first officer. Shelby is reassigned to a task force dedicated to rebuilding the fleet. Picard recovers, but is still disturbed by his ordeal. Yeah, I would definitely say so. Anyway, let's get some production notes and other things about this story. The writer of both episodes, Micah Piller, considers it to be a Riker-centric episode as he related the character's quandary over whether or not to leave the Enterprise to his own experiences as an executive producer on Star Trek. This was because Piller felt ready to move on to other things, but he was convinced to stay by Gene Roddenberry and Rick Berman. During the writing process on the episodes, he worked with Ronald D. Moore, who wrote the following episode, Family. The pair considered this episode to round out the Best of Both Worlds as a trilogy. Initially, it was intended to have an episode reflecting on the ongoing events of Picard. After Piller raised the issue with Roddenberry and Berman, it was agreed to be added as long as it included a science fiction story. Instead, Moore and Piller agreed to have 3 family stories contained in the episode which would resonate off each other. The musical score was composed and conducted by Ron Jones and eventually released as an album in 1991. Jones composed similar cliffhanger music for the 100th episode of Family Guy, Stewie Kills Lois, as Seth MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane and David A. Goodman had wanted to use the actual music, but couldn't get the rights from Paramount. The album was re-released in 2013 as a 2-part extended edition by GMP Crescendo Records, to include previously unreleased material by Jones. Nice. So, what can you say? This is definitely one of the best Next Generation episodes of all time. Of all time! So, overall, I give The Best of Both Worlds 5 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me soon as we take a look at, as we get into Season 4, well, kind of sort of anyway, with Family. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.